What's up? This is your girl Sexton from Perth, Australia, and I just skipped class to be here at the Progress Report.
The Progress Report.
Okay, all right. What's going on? It's your girl Lala Shepherd. This is a new episode of Skipping Class presented by the Progress Report. And today I got Sexton in the building. How
What's
you feeling?
up? I feel really good. It's
Amazing.
a nice day out.
It is a beautiful day.
It is.
And salute to my man Ruben for always connecting the dots, always making sure we get the dope ass talent here.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what's crazy, Sexton? We first met. I think we were in Cali. Funky OG, something like that.
Yeah.
It sound about right?
It sounds right.
But
if Funky's in LA, he's hitting me up.
Yep. I definitely always love the song with you and TK, The Space, and the song with you and Too Short is my shit too. To Do It For
Like
Me, that's
Too
my
Short,
shit.
yes.
I love that record.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
So, yes, thank you for being here.
Thanks for love.
Absolutely. So now tell us about this 30+ hour journey of getting here to the States.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's my hometown is a city called Perth. It's on the west coast of Australia. And you basically have to fly. Well, now that I'm in Atlanta, the flight is longer. So from LA, it's a little, quicker. But from Atlanta, you got to fly through Dallas. Then you got to fly to the East Coast. Then you got to switch again, pick up your bags, go through the madness of the airport, recheck back in, take another flight, and then you get to my hometown. So it's 30 hours and 3 planes. Yeah, it's crazy. It is great. It's a whole different universe.
Man.
And the time zone is different. So basically, let's say Atlanta time, my home time is, what time is it right now? Like 2:30?
3.
Okay, it's 3 p.m. in Atlanta. It's 3 a.m. tomorrow in my hometown. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense when you look at Australia on the map. As a kid, I've always been fascinated, like, damn, it's so far from us. But kudos to you for just being brave enough to actually leave and then to be committed enough to do that journey, because that's a lot.
Yeah, I hope I inspire to make other people, have other people do it as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how is the music scene over in Australia? I've never been over there.
Yeah, so I've been living here for some years, so I can't speak too broadly on it because I'm not in and out over there, really going in and out throughout the music scene. But what I do know, and I've also spoken to friends, there's very mixed scene. When it comes to hip hop specifically, there's a big inspiration of UK drill, obviously American hip hop, but then there's the own Australian hip hop, which is more, I would say, from what I've pulled from it, is a lot of live music and rapping over more live production. It's very different to here, so it's kind of, I've heard a divide within the industry of like those more Americanized sounding and those not, that are like anti, so there's a bit of both going on.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's an industry over there. It's just obviously a lot smaller than over here.
Nice. That's cool. Now, with these new tariffs, has anything affected you or anything?
Not personally.
Okay, good. Amen. Glad to hear that. Talk about you getting introduced to like just music overall, and at what point did you get into like American music?
Yeah, growing up, it was always American music, I would say, more so than Australian music. We have very much promoted American movies, TV, music. I always say it was like something from the gods above. When I was like 9-10 years old, I just started getting these visions of arenas, and the more I watched music videos and saw people doing music, it just felt like something I connected to. And then I had an older sister that sang and played guitar.
Nice.
And that also, within my house made me go, I want to do that. And so bit by bit, I just started writing music at like 9-10 years old. I won a talent competition. I was like, okay, I got something going on here.
Nice.
I started at this music school where the guy believed in like all of us learning a little bit of every instrument. So I actually learned guitar, drums, bass. It was like pop punk kind of stuff, Blink-182, Green Day. And then, but it was really hip hop that grabbed me. It just like took me in the energy of it that I started really like quietly rapping and writing raps. But coming from where I come from, obviously it's a long way away. The whole American dream seemed a bit delusional to a lot of people around me. So I kind of, at that moment, quit everything because everyone around me was like, it's never gonna happen. I'm just a kid. And then became rebellious, and then eventually came back to music. So
Amen.
Yeah.
Love that.
Got realigned.
And I was gonna ask you, like, that is interesting to hear that your sister sings, right? but you know, just your family support, and their thoughts on you traveling so far away. Like, how was that first conversation? Like, you going where?
I lied.
Okay.
I said I was going on a vacation. I said I was just gonna see what the scene's like out there. I was singing and dancing. So for people that don't know, I've danced my whole life as well.
Nice.
But you know, pulled back on that. The more I got into the music game, I obviously had to really focus on that more than dance. So I came over here. First to LA and did dance classes and started to kind of make my way in the music scene. But yeah, I lied at first. They thought I was coming back. And then over the years, it's been up and down. You know, it's been times of like feeling disconnected completely. It's totally different world over there than it is to here. And then trying to explain my life to my siblings. You know, it's difficult, but I think now I'm at a good point of like a lot of support from my family because they know how hard I've worked. And I think now that I've had success, it's like, okay, yeah, she's got something, it's getting together, you know? So
absolutely.
Yeah, they're proud of me now.
I love that. I mean, and you know, this is super dope because, you know, like I said, I've been listening to certain songs by you for years and had no clue of the backstory. So this is amazing.
No, for sure. I'm appreciative too because I think there's a really interesting story and like, you know, just even being a girl in the game, and just the whole journey. There's so much to it that I think people could pull and apply to their own lives, and bit by bit, as people get to know me, you know, that'll happen. So,
amen. Yeah. Musical influences for you, like, was it any artist in particular that you feel like helped shape who you are?
Yeah, so I'm the type of artist, I can listen to some let's say a song pops up and then I'm like, oh, let me dive in and I'll listen to 3 or 5 songs and I've already like pulled certain things from it, and then I can move on to the next and it's just, you know, so many genres and so many different people that have inspired me in different ways. But I would say, you know, when I think of top names that come to mind, it would be people like Young Thug and the YSL movement, Nicki Minaj, Lauryn Hill, her rawness and the guitar and the rap and sing, Drake, Future, Kanye, Kendrick. I mean, it's just like so many, Missy Elliott, oh man, there's so many lists. But yeah, those are just a few that, you know, came. And then I pull from like, you know, singers like Sia and like the pop, you know, melodies and stuff come into it too. So yeah, all over.
I love that. You know, when you listen to your music though, it's so many, like, it's a combination and blend of vibes. It's not just one thing. It's like, you know, so that just hearing you say that makes total sense. So I do want you to talk about working with Lil Got It. I know y'all got a couple of records together. You just, you know, talk about YSL. So, you know, talk about y'all chemistry.
Yeah. Well, with all of them, I've just worked with the guys. Lil Got It specifically, we just record very similar. Yeah. He hops on the mic, freestyles, I go back and forth. So we do what I call freestyle punch recording. So basically putting on the headphones, doing line by line, just recording, and we switch back and forth. So it's really natural, it's really organic. I think, you know, we hear music similarly and put our own spin on things. And what I love about those guys is they really support me and promote me, even like in the sense of like, hey, you can hop on the track first. Sometimes I come across male artists that are like, let me take the lead and make sure I outshine her. And then it's almost like this competition, and I feel the intimidation of them feeling like I might outshine them on a song. But with them, they're just like, shine bright, you know. So yeah, I really enjoyed making How. That's a single. So
hell yeah. And did you ever get a chance to meet Lil Keed?
Yeah, so we actually have about 5 songs together. I'm very close to his family still. Wow. I did meet him a few months before passing, and it was kind of like an instant real recognized real, like they just opened me, you know, up to their world. And yeah, he really embraced me, supported me, would tell all his fans about me, repost me. I mean, Keed was just such a rare soul and so genuine and so supportive that it's like he showed me, he gave me more support than people that I know for years, you know. So it was really crazy to come across that. And I think he understood me. He could tell I didn't really rock with a lot of people in the industry. And he's like, you with us now, you good, you know. So he showed me a lot of love. I still go and visit him, and I see his family and speak to them all the time. So
Amen. Yeah. Amen. So with the music that y'all have, what's the plans for that?
We'll figure it out. You know, I'm sitting on it right now. I have the records, so yeah. No plans to release right this second. But yeah. In future.
Absolutely. Now, did you get a chance to meet Young Thug yet?
No.
Not yet. Not yet. We're gonna speak into existence though. Okay. Now also too, tell me about, you know, linking with the TK Kravitz for the Space record. You know, did y'all know the impact was gonna be what it was? Man,
it was crazy. It was such a natural moment. I feel like when you prepare yourself enough for things and then moments just happen quick, and it was really organic. There was a bunch of us in the studio, 4 producers on the beat. They built the beat out. TK stepped in the booth, started the hook, stepped out. I finished mine. And a lot of people think a guy wrote the song. I wrote my part. TK wrote his part, okay? I very much pride myself on writing my work. Not that I don't collaborate or would collaborate with others, but I just, think it's important for people to know that. But
damn right.
He got in the booth, I got in the booth, went back and forth. It was just a bunch of drinks, vibing, whatever. And then our boy Chaos was in the studio. He filmed it and put the snippet on, TK put the snippet on Twitter.
Yeah.
And it just started all the conversation. What's the song? Who's the girl? And then it kind of, from there, it skyrocketed into a massive record. So yeah, really organic.
Mm-hmm. That's one of those timeless records. I think y'all got y'all one of them ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, talk about working with Too Short. Like I said, to do it for me, that's still one of my vibes. Like, that's my shit.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk about that.
There's a crazy story behind that because that was the day that I met the Coalition DJs in Atlanta.
Okay.
And I had no idea I was so new. It was all a new road for me. I didn't really even have a team all the way. It was just me moving through cities and trying to build momentum. And Funky was like, hey, come to my studio and make some music. I was like, okay. So me and a few people went over there and I hadn't even finished my rap verse, okay? And that was something I always remembered because it was 6 a.m. and I'm like, I'm just gonna fly back to LA, we'll figure it out, whatever. I go back to LA and I get a call from him, it felt like days afterwards, and he's like, the dancers are loving the song, da-da-da. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, it's playing in the clubs, the girls are requesting it. And he's like, and Too Short's on the song. And I'm like, what do you mean Too Short's on the song, And it was a crazy moment because after that, Too Short and I shot a video for it. So we have met and that all happened. But initially it was I'm like, wait, what's going on? And then it just got put together. So shout out DJ Funky for that. But that song is a vibe for sure.
Man, I love it. It's just, again, I think really that's one of the records too. It's no matter how many times I heard it, it still feels new every time. Yeah. Salute to my man DJ Funky too, man. Good dude. And I know, you came back to New Music Mondays the other day. That was really dope. And you did emphasize I wrote my stuff. And talk about writing, why specifically, why is it so important for you to let people know?
I'm happy at the amount of female success right now in the industry, but I will say that sometimes I find that females are sounding similar because there's the same writers on the records. And for me, I really want to create something new, and I want people to know that it is my story, it's my soul, it's my hard work that made that record. As I said, each to their own, do your thing. For me, I'm not saying I wouldn't work with other writers, but it just matters to me because it's I put a lot of work into that, and that's my identity, so that's why I think it's important. And I think people kind of diminish sometimes females' talent because they just think, oh, someone wrote that for her, someone gave her that, someone whatever, but I had to fight for everything that I have. So yeah.
I'm with you, man.
I know you feel me, a female in the game.
I definitely do. And also too, I want you to talk about, for you, somebody that has been in this game for some time now would say, and women being the popular thing now, but whereas when you first got into it, I wouldn't say that it was like that. So, what's your thoughts on just seeing the shift?
Man, I think the internet has been a beautiful thing because it has allowed women to get the engagement with their fans and also the ability to have a voice at times where, perhaps before women didn't have as much power within that ability to be able to do that. So for me, I just feel that there has been a huge shift, which I think is great. I mean, I think it makes more of an equal playing field. I remember before it was looking at all the lists of men and then a couple of females, but I still will say, from my experience in the music industry, I feel like the male artists around me do still get a lot more support, a lot of things for free that other girls might need to pay for. I feel like men don't get questioned as much with their vision that I've been around than I have been questioned on my vision. And, just different things like that still happen behind the scenes, but definitely to the world, I'm glad there's a lot more of female success going on right now.
Hey man, I hear that. I hear that for sure. What does your name mean and how did you get it? Sexton, it's always a conversation piece, I'm sure, but when I first heard it, I'm like, oh, that's unique. So how'd you get that?
Girl, I wish I had a story. It's my last name. Sexton is my last name. Yeah. Some people thought I just gave it sexy. But no, there was a point in the game where men were really pressuring me to get my body done, sex up my image, a bunch of things to do with sex that I should be sexier. And I was like, you know what? You want sex, it's in the name, So I cut off the Steph and just went with Sexton. I felt like it was provocative. And it's people don't know what it means. And yeah, it's my last name.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, word. That's what's up. Now, are you signed, independent? What's your situation?
Independent.
Okay. Salute. Now I know we got one project from you in 2020.
For sure.
So why only one project? Did you go into a hiatus, and can we expect another project? I know you got new music, but talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. To keep it all the way raw, which is my grand. I really haven't had a proper in-house management team or team this entire journey, even when I was top 10 in America. So when I got in the game, I was finding it hard to get people to work with me without having ulterior motives. And then finally caught a little momentum and space blew up, and I didn't have a management team then. So it's been a very difficult journey being from overseas and trying to navigate in the game. So to answer your question, I was kind of just putting out whatever I felt. And the project was something I felt like doing. Since then, I was, not hiatus, but in business situations that kind of helped me up. So now what we're doing is singles right now. That's the focus. Shout out Ruben, my new manager. We are doing singles. That's the focus.
Absolutely, man. It's such a blessing when I can see great people collab, because I know how hard it is, and I can only imagine from you coming from a completely different country. It's hard for us here to figure shit out, so just coming from a different country, so I'm happy that y'all got in contact. That's what's up. Now, let me ask you about race. Has your race ever been a hindrance? Has it ever been a thing? Or has people always treated you the same as everybody else in the room? Or has it ever affected you? And only you would know, so.
Yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I fought really hard to make my pen really fire.
Okay.
Because I feel like, yes, oftentimes on the internet, it's been a huge factor, especially when people don't know me and they're just seeing snippets of me. And, I actually, the internet is one thing. With the industry, I feel like initially they're taking meetings. When I first got in the industry, another female's name just kept getting brought up over and over and over, and it was frustrating because it was like, you haven't even heard my music, you're going off my appearance. Yes, it definitely hindered me in certain ways. It definitely took me feeling like I had to work double as hard to prove my authenticity. And I think the artists were the ones that gravitated to it first before the executives. I think those male rappers and artists that I've worked with, shout out to all of them that have supported me, and DJs and producers and whoever that did see it and show love, they really helped along the way to really let others know what it is. So yeah, I think now I'm not here to prove anything. I'm just being myself, and I focus on those that love me and understand me. And I feel like any human being is never going to be fully understood by the world. So you just got to go where the love is and just be the real you. And that's what the tattoo and my whole branding is. Yeah. Raw means real, authentic wave. And it's basically just be the real, raw you that you feel you are, no matter what other people project onto you. Like, just go out and be that person, I
love it.
Yeah,
I love that. And it's interesting. It's like, as an artist, as a female, we got our own different struggles, but it's just crazy. It's like everybody's journey is so different. Yeah,
for sure.
The new single, you performed 2 new records.
I did.
Us. Okay, but I know it's the one that Been That
FTT.
Bitch.
Okay, so Been That Bitch is not out yet. Okay. So FTT's dropping in a couple days with Fat Trel, and then Been That Bitch is gonna be next.
And I like the record with Fat Trel too. Like, talk about putting that together.
Yeah, again, everything with me is just vibes and natural organic moments. I never chase cosigns. I never chase any, collaborations. I was recording in a studio house. He was recording in the room next door. I wrote the song, pretty much the same concept of I don't give a fuck what the fuck they think. That's the hook. And it's basically, just industry, high school noise and people saying stuff about you. I want this to be an anthem for people to just ignore it and just be you, And so wrote the record. Trel was in the next room, heard it through the walls, I guess. Walked in and was like, what's up, and Trel? We met, boom, boom, boom. He's like, yo, this is hard. And I was like, you want to hop on it? So basically, there was an open verse, and he hopped on it, and it came together. So, yeah, shout out Trel.
Hey, that's lit. And the Been That Bitch, man. The title itself, I was just like, yo, pop it. Pop that shit,
Yeah,
man.
I feel like just my journey in the industry, I do not stay around people that don't make me feel like the person I know that I am. So I think this song is like letting people know that I know who I am and I know my worth, and it's for other people to feel inspired too. So
love that. Love that. So what you got coming up next?
Man, a lot of stuff, but really just taking Sexton, Raw, my music worldwide. That is that's the simple way of explaining it. But just up from here. That's pretty much
It's up. So our last question for this particular episode, I ask all my guests to define our keyword progress. What does it mean to you?
I think progress can look high and it can look low. You can have a high moment and low moment. Every low moment taught me so much that has actually helped so much with my progress. And every dark situation I was in that might have been really painful still brought something light. So progress doesn't always look just happy, you know, and everything's going great and you're moving at full speed. Sometimes I really had to learn to slow down and learn to meditate and like ground myself and like master my emotions. And that got me so much further.
Man.
So I think progress can look different.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, Sexton, this was amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, I'm glad we finally got this done.
Sure.
Overdue.
Universal lines.
Yes. Well, let them know your social media. Where can they find you at?
Yes. All my social media and streaming is Sexton, Sexton. Follow me, and I reply to DMs when I see them.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you, Sexton.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely.
The Progress Report.